this is how you play djembes when people are asleep in the house. When people are awake in the house, bang your drum, fool.
What's up, man?
Joe Gariffo.
What's up, Corey Castle? How you doing?
Some of the stuff I think I've even like spoke on this a bunch of times, and in the history of our friendship, and I just talked to you about how psyched I am that you're my friend, and I get to like watch you kind of blossom, and I get to watch you kind of like do cool stuff, and I get to like kind of get the inside scoop on stuff. I dig that a lot.
Well, thank you, man. A lot has happened since the first time I've been on your show to now, which is good because the title of your show is evolving with, and I just think it's funny since the first time I've come on to what I've been doing now. I have done a lot more. And it's cool coming back and getting to share like, oh, I got to do this or whatever. It's just fun. I like this little platform you got.
Well, I'm always going to be here for you. always got time for you.
So what's up, man? What's going on?
I think on the record, I would like to say, I hope at no point do you get too successful and too famous to ever respond to my texts.
One, that'll never happen. I mean, I would never not respond to you, so that would just be rude. And two, I never know how to respond when people say things like this. So I always get real awkward, and I'm like, I just like doing this stuff for fun. Like it's not. I don't want to be like a big famous person. That maybe when I was like 13, that was like oh, that'd be so cool. But now I'm like, that's like the last thing I want. I don't want people to listen to me. That's what it was like. I think you have imposter syndrome. I was like, I mean, yeah, I have been doing this my entire life, but I don't think I'm a person that should be listened to. So like, I'm like, people asking for advice and stuff, and I'm like, I'm in my mom's basement.
Well, you got so much knowledge and so much like talent and so much artistic like creativity that you're putting it out into the world, and people are starting to notice it and acknowledge your work, and eventually more and more people are going to start to notice and acknowledge you, and once that happens, then I hope you're still my friend.
Well, yeah, well, and you don't have to worry about that. We'll always be friends, but unless you like do something unbelievably horrible to me, but I doubt that would happen. So,
I think mostly like you do get tons of people who say, I mean, I get it myself. People go, don't forget about me. And I'm like, I know I'm not going to I think the amount of people who forget about people is pretty high. You know what I mean? I've experienced it where a lot of my friends are wrestle on TV, and they don't know. They would much rather pretend like they never heard of me.
Yeah, I kind of have that experience with specifically one person. I don't want to name any names, but it's a person that has been in a lot of big things. Since when we were like kids, we went to acting school together, and like the movies he was in, one he stayed at my house the day that they filmed it. He's in an M. Night Shyamalan movie, one of them. Anyway, he got a part in a movie and then moved to Los Angeles, and I never heard from him again. Not from lack of trying on my part. So I don't know what happened. I'd love to reconnect. I have nothing bad to say. I would love to reconnect with him. I just never heard from him again. So, yeah. So I've been there. I don't know.
I guess people think they like outgrow people. Like, maybe. I think a lot of people always say like, oh yeah, I used to be a wrestling fan, but like I outgrew that. I'm like, oh, you might have not outgrown that. You might have just let people convince you that it wasn't cool anymore. and you outgrew liking things, like you outgrew joy because people shamed you.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I was never ashamed of the stuff that I liked, and I think that was like I was always even in like high school and stuff. I was the one that liked the weird stuff, like Evil Dead. Like no one in my high school. I'm probably the reason my high school knew what that movie was. You know what I mean? Like at least my class. So I used to seek that stuff out, but
I think that some of that kind of goes without saying. Like you don't ever have to explain that to me, and I would just know it. Like I know that like the amount of like deep cuts, like you're absolutely
cut. But I mean, I guess in 2000, from 2000 to 2004, now we have like Ash vs. Evil Dead and that stuff, so people would know about it a little bit more. But then it was just the movies, and I think there was.
I think I was mainly talking about like California Raisins.
Oh, those, yeah.
Like there's nobody who's like, oh, I decided to get really fascinated with California Raisins at 30. Let me post about it.
Yeah, well, I never grew out of it. That's what I mean. Like I just always thought they were cool. I love Motown music and Chuck Taylor's because of those guys. Like that was like my introduction to music when I was a kid. So
and now you're a claymation artist,
and that had a lot to do with it too.
Yeah, that's the way that we tie things all together that way. Like I didn't even think of that. I never thought of like that being like one of the things that was maybe a motivator for you, and I absolutely should have, and I can't believe I didn't.
I didn't either though. Like wow. The claymation stuff. When I started doing that, it was a hobby. I didn't, hold on, let me lower my. I don't know. I can hear feedback. I don't know what's going on. But the claymation stuff, I don't know. I didn't like set out to. I'm going to do that. That was literally a hobby, and it's the one I did that got the most attention. So it was like, I guess I'll keep doing this. I like doing it. It's fun. It's tedious and a pain in the ass, but it is. I enjoy it. But I never thought it would be like a professional thing.
Right. And
now it's becoming one, and it's like overwhelming, but awesome at the same time. Right. So can I do this? Like people keep asking me to do things, and I'm like, yeah. And then I'm like, can I? I'm like, yeah, I can do it. I can do it.
Dude, it all just has like your signature on it somehow. Like it feels like when you're watching like a claymation animation that you release, it's like, oh, that looks like Joe Gariffo did.
It's
yeah.
I mean, I understand exactly what you're saying, and that's pretty awesome. Like that, because like if I look at a Will Vinton, he's the guy that made California Raisins. If I see a claymation that he did, I know it was him. I could tell which ones did the Wallace and Gromit type stuff. Like each one has their own little distinct look to them, and it's cool that you said this. That also wasn't intentional, but it just kind of became like.
Well, your soul's in those creations.
No,
and that's pretty. It's pretty apparent, dude, and it's gonna continue. It's gonna continue being something that brings joy into people's lives, and I really acknowledge that. And in this forum, would like to tell you, keep it up, man. Keep doing it.
I got
inspiring.
I guess it was 2 weeks ago. Today, 2 weeks ago, I got an email from Kevin Smith's assistant asking if I would do the official intro for his Wake and Bake blog on his That Kevin Smith Club. Mm-hmm. Are you okay? My dog is like hacking up over here. Are you okay? Come here. Are you okay, Bubby? Here comes my doggy boo. She just like got up like, like are you okay? Okay.
Oh man, that's a pretty dog.
Oh, it's Zoe.
Lab.
You're on the internet.
Joey and Zoe.
Yeah, I didn't name her. My sister did, which is weird. It's not her dog, so I don't know how that happened. But I was gonna name her Ripley because I like the movie Alien. Yes, I do.
Oh.
And I thought that was a cooler name.
I thought it was something about you were going to name her that because you didn't believe her. You didn't believe that she came into your life.
Oh,
You're just,
like
believe it or
Ripley.
not.
I get it. I get it. I get it. Okay, sit down. Sit down. Go ahead. Go ahead. You can lay with me. Sit. Sit. She's gonna be licking my face through this whole thing, probably. But
that's fine. That's fine.
Behind me. Good. Good. Sit. Good. Okay. Good girl. All right.
So, do we find ourselves writing things?
I was telling you a story about before the dog started.
Before, okay.
Writing stuff, not specifically, but the Kevin Smith thing. I got an email from his assistant asking if I would do the intro for his Wake and Bake show, and I was like, yeah, of course. Like, what am I going to say no? So I did it. It took me a day and a half. And now it's their official intro for the show. It's only on the That Kevin Smith Club, so you have to be a member to watch those videos specifically. But it's still crazy. Like, he gave me this amazing shout. He was like, "Kids, did you like the new opening, the new claymation opening by Joe Gariffo? It's pretty nice, right?" And I'm just sitting here like watching this right here, right in this exact spot. And then he's like, I love seeing people's work come to fruit. And I'm just like tearing up, like, is Kevin talking about me? It's crazy.
When you sent me the I guess screen capture of him giving that shout out.
Yeah,
like,
I just
that was
saying a little clip.
I was goosebumps, dude. Like, there's something really cool about somebody being recognized and appreciated for their craft.
It's crazy. I mean, I've been a fan since I was since I was 13 was the first time I saw anything Jay and Silent Bob related, and I've been a fan ever since. And the fact that, like, I mean, all he could have said to me was, "Dude, cool." That would have been it, you know. If instead he was like, "I want to hire you. Come on, man. I'm trying to employ you, mother." So, like, I'm like, dude. And now it's a year and some change later, and I've talked to him a bunch since that first time we met. I've done a bunch of animations for him, and you know, I can't say much, but like, I never thought, like, I emailed him an idea, and instead of getting like a fuck off, like, that's like, I'm very interested. What do you need from me? So, like, we're going to talk more about it this coming year. So hopefully I'll have something else for the next time I come on. But,
yeah, of course.
And talk about, but I'm just saying, like, I can't believe this is happening. We're like having this kind of dialogue, and I'm like, it's the most surreal thing that's ever happened to me. Just because I'm such a huge fan. They say don't meet your heroes, but like, if your hero or if you love Kevin Smith, he is someone that don't be afraid to meet, because the dude's amazing. I literally haven't heard a bad story about the guy, but he's been very great to me personally. So, and I don't, and he had no reason to be, like, I don't know him. It's like, I'm just a fan,
right?
So
it's awesome, man. It's so cool. I mean, I just I have like my dream people who I'd like to work with, and like, he's for sure on there for me. So the fact that, like, I'm getting to watch like one of my friends who like you and I vibe on so many levels and like bite into the same like buddy comedy fandom. Well, that's like our genre, our niche, kind of like buddy comedies. Like, that's something I think that
if the movie has two names in it, I'll probably watch it.
right, exactly.
Bill and Ted, Jay and Silent Bob. Well, Wayne's World's different, but still, there's two of them. Tommy Boy. Yeah, Lethal Weapon. That's why I love Die Hard with a Vengeance. I think that was originally supposed to be a Lethal Weapon movie. And then they changed it, made it a Die Hard movie. But I digress. Let's not get off.
Dude, you have so many digressions in, like, you can go, hey, fun fact about this, and then name an actual fun fact that, like, not a lot of people would even know. Or, like, I think sometimes when you go, oh, well, this is the guy, when you showed the Wes Craven, the Wes Craven
that TikTok video,
yeah, and all the Easter eggs in movies.
Like, that's something I thought was common knowledge, right? I didn't put that on. For those who may not know, I started doing TikTok videos like about, I don't know, a couple months ago, and I've got a pretty big following on there all of a sudden. I don't know why, because I've been posting the same exact type of stuff across every platform since they came out, Twitter, Instagram, all of them, and I've never gotten the kind of attention that TikTok has provided for me, which is bizarre. But I did a video about that, about all the connections in that Wes Craven with Sam Raimi and Wes Craven.
Mm-hmm.
I like some of the comments. Well, a lot of the comments are like, really cool, I had no idea, right? And then some of the comments are like, great job, Sherlock, knew about this 20 years ago.
Right.
And in my head, I'm like, well, one, I didn't say anywhere in this video that I'm the one that discovered this. And even in the comments, I keep posting articles that say you can read more about it here. You can do like, so yeah, I never said that I was the one that found all of those things.
Right.
And half the people on that app weren't alive 20 years ago. So how would they know about it? You know what I mean? It's not like I posted about Meet the Feebles, Peter Jackson's second movie, which is, if anyone doesn't know about it, it's like the Muppets on crack or acid or something. Like, it's just a movie about a bunch of puppets, and a lot of messed up stuff happens. It's like the original Happy Time murders, right? I posted about that movie, and like so many comments were like, I never knew this existed, because I said, oh, the guy that directed Lord of the Rings made this movie. Like, which is why that's interesting, because the guy made Bad Taste, which is a really low budget, disgusting alien movie. He made Meet the Feebles, which is like Muppets on crack. He made Brain Dead, Dead Alive in the United States, which is like one of the goriest movies ever made.
Well, also Muppets. The Muppet Rat.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the rat monkey, the Sumatran rat monkey, yes. And then Heavenly Creatures, which is like a crime thriller, I think. I've never actually seen it, and I'm planning on watching it in the next day or so. But and then Frighteners, which is like one of my favorite movies. So he did all these weird, like, with the exception of Heavenly Creatures, because I haven't seen it, all the other ones are weird movies, and they gave him Lord of the Rings. And it blows my mind, because it's like, because if you watch Meet the Feebles or Bad Taste, or like, I don't think like, hey, I want to give this guy our multi-billion-dollar franchise 3-hour-long movies like about this beloved book franchise based on these guys' earlier films. And I love his earlier movies, and I'm not even the biggest Lord of the Rings fan. I just find that fascinating.
Yeah.
It's like, how did he get that job?
It is like,
I love him for it, and it's amazing, and it just gives you that hope. That's another thing that I always say, like, look at that guy's early work. I mean, it's great, but it is very low budget. It's that niche, that like niche
whatever
classics. Those are not people like me and you like that stuff, not massive. So to give him the Lord of the Rings franchise, it blows my mind. It blew my mind.
Let me just say another example. I think it goes right in that, and you're like, oh man, I didn't know this guy got all this cool stuff. Jon Favreau, dude. Like, like he was like the guy.
Favorite movies.
He's just the guy who was like Vince Vaughn's sort of accessory, and then it turns out Vince Vaughn was just that guy's accessory.
Yeah, well, like Swingers was another movie that like I loved. I guess because they were actors and stuff. when I saw it for the first time. I was in college, but they were like just trying. He even had my car. I had a '97 Chevy Cavalier. He had the same car I had in that movie. So it was like I really related to that, despite the title. The title is the only thing about that movie that I hate, because every time I tell anyone about it, I have to immediately say it's not about people switching sex partners or anything like that. Like, it is
Not about key parties.
not about that. It's I guess it's called swingers because they like the swing club music, like swing music, like Cherry Poppin' Daddies, stuff like that.
Like Mighty Mighty Bosstones.
Yeah, well, no, that was. I guess it's more ska, right?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know but that swingers has nothing to do with the sex act of swinging in that movie at all. So every time I tell anyone about it, I have to say that if they've never heard of it. I'm just like,
I don't think I've ever actually seen the movie.
Really?
Yeah, but I remember they did like a reenactment of a scene for a Wild West Comedy Tour movie. Did you watch that documentary?
No, but I bet I could guess the scene they picked. Was it the phone call where he keeps calling the girl over and over again?
I don't think so.
No, that was like the famous. They parodied that in commercials and stuff. He like got a girl's number and then called her immediately, and then the machine cuts off, so he calls back to leave the number again, and it cuts off again, and he just keeps calling back, and it just gets progressively more awkward. You're just like, ooh. It's my favorite scene in the movie.
You know what? I think that it was like they recreated the scene with Justin Long. And I think that's also like that guy's career is like something that I feel like you could be that exact thing. Like that could be your career.
Who, Justin Long?
Yeah.
I do love Justin Long. I mean, that would be.
It feels like you'd be competition for him if you guys went in at the same time.
I don't know.
I mean, he's been in there a couple years longer than you.
I think he would get the part every time. I'm just like, Justin Long. That dude's amazing.
But like when you did say the thing about like you haven't put anything different, it's all the same kind of stuff. When you were talking about your TikToks, I was like, but it comes from like you're like psyched. You're it's that energy. It's kind of like I could see. I could see you being like, "Hi, I'm a Mac," and you doing the Mac commercials.
Oh my God, I remember. I forgot Justin Long was even in those commercials. I forgot about them completely.
No, you got to do a TikTok about it where it's you being Justin Long.
I'm a Mac, and I'm a
do
PC.
Like do a duet about like you could do duets on TikTok, right?
Mm-hmm.
Make that a viral thing. I'm a Mac and I'm a PC, and be like, I'm an iPhone. I'm an Android.
Excuse me.
Dude, oh man, gonna be a smash hit, dude.
Yeah, I do have my cartoons coming out soon.
Yeah, I saw you posting about it, but dude, I've been saying you have a cartoon voice since I met you.
Well, thank you, sir. This is the voice in the show. I'm Reed. I play the old man that runs the brewery. But anyway, that comes out, I think, March, in a couple weeks. It might even be next week. I think in 2 weeks.
Is it going to be like a digital release? Is it? It's
going to be a Facebook Watch thing.
Uh-huh.
But the whole season will be available immediately. You can watch the whole thing. Well, what's crazy about that is we shot it. Well, I mean, shot it. It's a cartoon. We recorded the voices and it's been finished for a while now. And we submitted it to a couple film festivals and we won 2 of them. And I think we have a 3rd coming up. We won like best short film and best animated something. I can't remember. One was the Portland Comedy Film Festival. One was the Oregon Film Festival. It's on the poster, the little thingies. I don't remember. Anyway, so we started doing that stuff. And we got a producer named Chris Meyer, who, if you Google him, it's KrisMeyer. Meyer, and that dude's credentials, like, I cannot believe my name is on the same thing as him. He produced Super Troopers 2, The Do-Over with Adam Sandler and David Spade.
That was awesome. I like that movie.
Three Stooges, Me, Myself, and Irene, all the Farley Brothers movies after Dumb and Dumber, but he did work on Dumb and Dumber as well.
Me, Myself, and Irene is such a sleeper. People never talk about it. It should be talked about all the time.
This dude thought our show was really funny, and he's taken it some places, so we're gonna see what happens with it. But I just can't believe that. Like, I'm just like if you go to his IMDb, it's like The Do-Over, Super Troopers, Fever Pitch, Shallow Hal. He produced all those movies, and then Brew Crew. It's literally, and I'm like, that is the weirdest thing to see, because I'm like, me and him are the producers of this show.
That's amazing.
That's how I'm like, it doesn't. I still haven't met him in person either. That's the other craziest thing.
Did you record it? Like, did you record it at a studio? Did you go to a studio?
Yeah, we went to Los Angeles to do the. It wasn't like a big fancy studio. A friend of ours has his own, sound booth and all that other stuff. So we went over to his place, and a friend of mine, not a friend of mine. I guess he would be a friend of mine, but at the time it was the writer Zach's friend.
Okay. We're not friends. Hey, listen here, pal.
We're not friends, man.
We're not friends.
We're not. No, we're fine. Josh. It was Josh's stuff. He's a really cool guy. I didn't know him at the time that we did it. Now I do. I'm just saying. At the time, I did not know him.
Yeah. Well,
but it was Zach's friend who had the studio. So that's
it. It amazes me the kind of like connections, like the like. Little bit of this can mix in with this, and this person can meet this person. I think I've talked to you about this before, but the fact that like you are connected with somebody who's got all those movies that he's produced, and you went to LA and you recorded that stuff. Those are all like kind of like major life accomplishments for anybody. But yeah, you're just like, all right, I got a whole bunch of other things I still want to do. Like I think that I identify with that so much because I feel that way too. When like I don't like live inside of the content of my accomplishments.
Right. I mean, well, it's not even that. It's like we did it so long ago that it hasn't come out yet, so not many people have seen it. I mean, like a handful of people at the festivals have seen it and stuff, but like that's it. So and we've only it's only the one thing. So like I want to do it more. I'd love to do more, but I recorded all of my stuff in 15 minutes. So it's like, it's not the same as doing a movie where you're on set for, even if you're only in the thing for 5 minutes, you'll feel like you're part of it because you've been there the whole time. Yeah, and even though I've been a part of Brew Crew, like the show literally would have not happened had it not been for me. I still feel like it's not the same. And I love cartoons. It's just not the same. Well, we all recorded the stuff together. Like we were all in the same room and all stayed, not in the same booth, but we were all reading the lines, the whole cast while we did that. I know most cartoons don't do that. And if we were to go forward in the future, we probably wouldn't be able to do that with everyone's schedules and stuff. So it's not the same as doing a movie where
whatever that would be, it would be the sophomore effort, like it's going to definitely be different if it gets some legs under it. Dude, it sounds so fun. Like I love that kind of stuff. Like watching Mrs. Doubtfire made me want to be like a person who voices cartoon.
Piss off, Lou. The beginning of that movie. I mean, that's a terrible impression, but that was the beginning of that movie.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's weird too because like this was completely independently produced, and it just reminds me of like and animation's super crude and stuff. Not that it looks bad, but I mean it's crude. It's really low budget.
It doesn't have a gigantic studio budget.
It's not crisp or clean, but it reminds
Right.
for some reason, like Chris Meyer loved it, and the people at these film festivals are loving it. And I'm like, it's bizarre because like I said, it looks not like shit, but you know what I mean? Like it reminds me of early Beavis and Butthead or the original South Park Spirit of Christmas shorts, or like just that crude animation where it's not polished. It's just, and this is what like our show is kind of like that, but with like flash animation. But I don't know. It struck a chord with some people. They like it, and now I hope we get to do more in the future. That would be amazing, and that would be like the best. A voice work for something like that would be like a dream job.
Yeah,
it's like I said, I recorded all my stuff in 15 minutes.
So it's like a big trip.
A big part in the show. Like, it's funny too because I did it all, and the exact directing was just like that was perfect. I was the only one in the booth for that short of amount of time. I'm not. I said, well, that's how a professional gets it done.
Don't mean to brag or anything, but listen, brag.
I did my part really quick. Jake was in the booth for like 6 hours. Sorry, Jake. I doubt you'll watch this, buddy, but he really was in the booth for a really long time. But he killed it. He had way more to do than I did, so it's not like
we won't hold it against him that he's not as good as you, Joe.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. He had way more to do than I did. Believe me. He's kidding. He was the main voice of the show. I'm just being a dick. So is that. We got a behind the scenes coming out where he kind of rips on me. So we brought in this kid from Philadelphia, and Jake's cool, man. He does a lot of voiceover work, but like
I think we're gonna start talking about. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I thought you were gonna complete the whatever his ripping on you was. We brought in this guy from Philadelphia, and then you jumped right in to like talking about all the cool stuff.
Well, we brought in this guy from Philadelphia, and we were all like, "Who's this kid?" You know, and then he was like really talented. So whatever. It's just that's how he is. Yeah, he's but you've heard his voice before. He's just in random things. Like he's like a voiceover for trailers. You'll hear his voice. He did some for certain trailers for I can't think of any specific examples at the moment, but I know he was in Deadpool 2. You could hear his voice in Deadpool 2. The guy talking to the camera when he gets shot in the head in like the beginning of the movie, that was Jake's voice. So he does voiceover work for, I think that's who he was. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But I know it's someone in Deadpool 2, a henchman that you don't see their mouth with a mask on. He voiced over that person.
Various voices.
Yeah, I mean, he's been in the business for a really long time. There's a movie that just came out called VHS. I think it's on Prime. He's in that. He's the father in that movie.
That sounds like a total you watch.
VHS is a really cool premise. It's like this kid had the whole movie's on a VHS tape, and this kid taped over his parents' wedding. So it's like starts with the wedding, and then it fuzzes into like the dad saying, "You're not. What tape are you using?" or something like that, and then it cuts to like commercials. It's a cool movie. The premise, I mean, it's like VHS, but not a horror movie. It's just
that's awesome. It sounds great. I'll watch it. VHS, you said it's called?
Yeah, VHS. I think it's on Prime. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
I don't know. It's just cool. Like I got to meet all these people doing the show. It was just fun. Yeah, I would love to continue to do that. Where's she at?
So I got this new thing that I've been doing.
Yeah.
I normally say it in the beginning before we get rolling, but like I'm gonna just throw it in there.
All right.
I started doing this thing where if you've got to get up and go to the bathroom at any point during the show, then I'll stay here and I'm going to look up the lyrics to any like 90s pop song and just either read the lyrics off or sing them or something. And the other way around. So if I get up to use the bathroom, then you instead of cutting stuff, because I don't really cut stuff very much. That's not really I'm not a good editor. So instead,
you telling me you have to pee?
Yeah, pretty much. I'll cut that part out though.
Okay. All right, you go to the bathroom. I'll stay and talk to everybody. See, Corey's now going to go to the bathroom. So now that we are alone, yes, I'm just hanging out. I don't even know what song to look up. He wanted me to look up a song, but I mean, I would just immediately think of Blink-182 stuff, and then I don't want to hurt your eardrums with me trying to sing like Tom DeLonge or even Mark Hoppus or I guess now Matt Skiba, although I probably wouldn't have picked a new Blink song. Although I like new Blink. I got nothing against new Blink. There's what is this? That is Michelangelo. Very cool. Very cool. I don't know who that was, but that was awesome. It might have been Corey. Could have been anybody. We don't know. But back to Blink-182. I think it's weird because like now I've been on TikTok like looking at Blink stuff. Now there's like a whole sub community of Blink-182 fans. They're like the classic rock now, apparently, to these kids, which blows my mind. And I love them, like I do, but it's weird because they're like terrible live. I've seen them live so many times, and they really are like not a good band live. I haven't seen them with Matt Skiba, but I was just talking about Blink-182 and how they might be better with Matt Skiba, but I prefer Tom DeLonge. Classic, you know. I was even.
You were going to sing a Blink-182. Was that all leading up to you?
Well, I was like, I was going to pick a Blink song, and then I just went on this tangent about Blink-182 while you were in the bathroom, and then I don't know who put the Michelangelo head in front of the.
Oh, that was my roommate.
Okay, I was like, I just saw the Michelangelo.
He'd be doing that sometimes.
Sorry for my Blink-182. I was just saying how like the kids on TikTok, Blink-182 is like classic rock now. They're still very popular, but like of all the bands, I mean, I guess I'm happy about it. They are my them and Green Day are like my favorite bands, but
do you know what,
they're relevant? I guess.
Do you know what Blink-182 and TikTok have in common?
What?
All the small things.
That's my least favorite song.
Don't even soak up the joke.
I get the joke, but that song is. It's like even on that album, it's like the worst song on the album, and it was like their most popular, and it blows my mind. I guess because of the music video. I guess that had a hell of a lot to do with it. Was but even
the Backstreet Boys spoof and
but the music video for "What's My Age Again" I thought was way funnier than the music video for All the Small Things. So like, I don't know. It's a better "What's My Age Again" was a better song and video than in my opinion, but like I don't know how All the Small Things was their breakout explosive hit when What's My Age Again was the first single. Dumpweed's a better song. Aliens Exist is a better. Going Away to College is a better song. The Party Song is a better song. All of those would have, in my opinion, would have been a way better single than that. That would be that's the one I skip every time if I'm listening to that album. Sorry, I went on a.
No, don't be apologetic. Like honestly, your fandom to stuff, your passion for stuff is something you should never ever apologize for.
Well, I feel like I'm shitting on things, and I don't like to shit on things. I'm just like I hate the people that are always like, movies you should never watch and things like that. And I'm like, I'm sure there are people that love All the Small Things as a song, and I feel like an asshole because I'm here saying it's their worst song, and like I don't.
Right, but as somebody who is a gigantic fan of that band, you're entitled to having that opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I really have. But also, it's not like a gatekeeper thing. Like I'm not like I've been a fan since Dude Ranch came out, and
none of you can be as much of a fan as me.
Right? Like I've been a fan since forever, so like I know more than you, and I hate that
shit.
It
was cool.
If that was the case, then I wouldn't be a Kevin Smith fan because I saw Dogma first. You know what I mean? Like, I was still 13 when I saw it. And it was the fourth one, but that was what got me. And I went back and watched all the other stuff. But like, if anyone gets into something because of whatever, like, I think that's awesome. I don't, no matter when it happened. But I don't understand. It's just to me, All the Small Things is such a boring song compared to every other song on that album that I'm just like,
any song that says on and on and on and on and on and
why
on.
it got popular.
It's something people could say it along with them. They can sing it along and on and on and on and on and on. And it's just, it's hypnotic.
I guess. I don't know. They have other songs that are more catchy that were nowhere near as popular that are, I don't know. Whatever. I mean, they're.
No, I found.
I'm still discussing them, so I guess they're still relevant. I'm just.
I found Kevin Smith in Mallrats. That was my first Kevin Smith movie was Mallrats, and I don't know. I went a while before I saw the first Clerks because I was like,
that's when I saw, but it was before Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back came out, so it was like I watched them all within like a week. I didn't know they existed. Dogma I just saw because I like Chris Rock. I thought I saw he was in the movie and I was like, oh, I love Chris Rock. I think he's funny. And then I watched the movie and Jay, I was like, who the hell are these guys? They just stole the movie. Like, I just thought they were so funny. And then when I was in the video store, completely unrelated, like I wasn't looking for it. Like I just saw the cover of Mallrats and saw they were on the cover of Mallrats. And I was like, holy shit, those are the guys from Dogma. And then I looked back and it said Jay and Silent Bob. And I was like, they're the same characters from Dogma? I got to rent this movie. And then, at the end of Mallrats, it says they'll return in Chasing Amy through the credits. I rented that. And then the video store clerk told me about Clerks because that was the order of all it up. But if I saw Clerks first, I don't know if I would have watched the rest of them either. I love Clerks, but I was 13. So I
think it was too adult for me.
But that's what I mean. Like it's. If you start with something like Dogma and then say, well, these characters started in this movie. And I actually used to teach a summer camp, a film studies class at a summer camp. And I introduced the children at the time who are now in their mid-20s. God damn. I introduced them to Jay and Silent Bob through Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back because I figured that was the best one to start them with, because it's a live action cartoon and it's like the goofiest, and these were like teenagers, not kids, but and they were allowed to watch these movies. But anyway, I introduced them to this, and I know some of them still keep in contact with it. They still like it, and I know they all went back and watched all the other ones. So it's just, and then when the new Bill and Ted came out, same thing. I introduced them to Bill and Ted, and one of my old students was like, "Can't wait! I'm so happy that this movie exists, like because I saw it with you for the first time, and like, so it's cool that like I was able to do that. Yeah, I spreading the word."
Yeah, gotta witness for these people, my brothers and sisters. Arise your way of thinking to get around Kevin Smith's writing, Jay and Silent Bob, Bill and Ted.
Well, no, the reason I like. It is the other thing. It's not like I'm here saying like Kevin made the best movies in the world. Why I related to him was because I wanted to make movies and he made it seem possible. And I loved his movies because they were flawed, because they had a heart to them. I know they're not all perfect, but I love them anyway for their imperfections, because there's something about doing it on your own, knowing that no one could ever see it, or just that it gives you that spark of hope that Edgar Wright made a movie before he made Spaced called Dead Right. It's like I think it's an hour long. It might be 40 minutes. It stars all of his school friends, and it's like it's a cop movie that he made with his school friends. And it's actually a special feature on the Hot Fuzz DVD. But like just knowing he did that same stuff, and then like looking at the movies he makes now, it gives you that like, well, they didn't have money and they were using what they had access to. What did I have access to? All right. I wanted to keep working. No one, well, the pandemic, but even before the pandemic, like nothing was happening. So I was like, well, I always like stop motion. Well, maybe I could make a stop motion thing. And so I just did it. And then now I'm continuing to do it, which is weird. I'm just saying, it's just a thing that I don't know.
So I thought what was really cool. So going into what you were saying, like you were talking about, like getting inspired by those films, the grit and the indie nature, like that was, I think, what inspired me. I remember before podcasts were a thing, I just used to listen to the director's commentary on the director's commentary tracks on Kevin Smith movies. And that was my entertainment. And then hearing that, I'd hear like the insider parts of it and how doable I felt like it was. I think that's when like me and Rick started like doing sketch comedy. We started like filming sketches and getting out there and just like being like, well, we can't just sit here and talk about how we'd like to do it and not do it. Let's go do it.
Yeah. And that's the thing that he really instilled was do it yourself. And Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi was another one, man. The Evil Dead movies. Well, Evil Dead, the first one, but Within the Woods, the half-hour short film that they made to raise money for Evil Dead. Like those things. I just found out that there's a half-hour What We Do in the Shadows short film. I did not know that. I just got my hands on a copy of it, and I can't wait to watch it because I love seeing that shit.
Yeah, like a physical copy of it?
I got a digital, but I burned myself a physical copy. It's not available anywhere. I do not condone bootlegs and stuff. However, it is the only way certain things can survive, like Freddy's Nightmares or Beavis and Butthead in the complete series, because
with the original music videos too.
Music videos. There's also a lot of episodes that Mike Judge doesn't want people to see anymore because, well, they're not very PC. I was revisiting them because I have them all on my hard drive, and I put on the very second episode, and Jesus Christ, I was like, well, I understand completely why Mike Judge would not want this to be available. But I don't even want to say what they do in it. Like all right, I will say they see now, but once again, this isn't mean, people. I always get so nervous when I talk about this type of stuff because then people are like, anyway,
I have to really, really quickly announce the thing that I've probably told you before. The circumstances in being mean, or the circumstances in like speaking about something that you care about, and if you say a thing that might hurt somebody's feelings, I don't think that there's that many people listening. Or
no, dude, it's not even that. It's like I love Beavis and Butthead, and I am not for censoring things because I believe that we should learn from the past, and that was a snapshot into a specific time, and by erasing it, erases the history of everything to make yourself look good.
It's a revisionist history.
Yeah, I think you should, like, and that's why I'm like, I get it. Like, as a creator, I get Mike Judge not wanting people to see that, but also as a creator, as a fan, not as a fan, I like to have everything. And when you tell me I can't have a part of it, it makes me want to watch it more. And that's what I think this like taking away Song of the South and stuff like that. While I wasn't really a fan or whatever, I'm just saying by taking them away,
you just like sweet potato pie.
You makes people like, well, why'd they take it away? I want to see that now. What was so bad about it? So it makes people, in a way, it advocates for piracy.
Yeah,
You're like,
it makes you pine for it more, like the
in a way,
draw for it.
will you guys stop it? Stop it. Hey, what are you doing? Come here. Are you all right? These fight. They love each other, and then they fight. And then they're like, "Are you?" But he always starts it. He'll go bite her face, and then she's like, "All right." He goes, "And you, stop it." Okay. Anyway,
so what happened in the episode 2 of Beavis and Butthead?
Beavis Butthead.
Paint us a mental picture.
It's called well, it starts with an Asian man on TV with a commercial, very short, standing next to two tall blonde people. Or two blonde women. I think that same episode, that same commercial was on King of the Hill. However, that's not the offensive part. It cuts to Beavis and Butthead literally sniffing glue, like straight up, like up their nose, which isn't even the offensive part. Right after that, it cuts back to the commercial, and then it cuts to Butthead, who's looking at the Asian man, and then he slants his eyes with his hands and starts talking in a stereotypical Asian accent for the rest of that segment. And my cat he's just so it was, it was like watching that through 2021 lenses. It's like, holy shit, like I totally get why, because it's not saying anything, it's not a commentary on anything, it's literally just Butthead being an asshole. Mm-hmm. Being a racist, stereotypical asshole. That's that scene. So like I get it. Now in the very beginning it says Beavis and Butthead are not supposed to be role models, and they're not people you're supposed to look up to or anything like that. So,
but it just gels with the theory of I'm a like anything that has two people's names in the beginning.
Beavis and Butthead, yeah. And dude, they announced a new movie yesterday. I can't wait. It's going to be on Paramount Plus, and
Beavis and Butthead Do America Again.
I don't know what it's called. They just showed up on a Zoom like this, and they're like, "Hey, is everybody here?" I can't do the voices. Is Butthead here? And he slaps him. It's gonna be cool. Well, hopefully, the 2011 Beavis and Butthead season was probably the best thing. Well, not the movie. The movie's amazing. The movie's...
Yeah. It was like Demi Moore and Bruce Willis.
That movie is, in my opinion, the best cartoon to movie adaptation ever. I mean, there's not many that like Beavis and Butthead Do America. I mean, I liked the Simpsons movie, but it wasn't the best. Like South Park movie is up there. Mm-hmm. That was really good.
That's a movie that it's offensive as hell.
Well, I mean, like, but it's also
2021 lenses wouldn't like that.
One's different because you have somebody there defending themselves, whereas the Beavis and Butthead example, no one was defending themselves in that scene or anything to call them out on being assholes or anything like that. It's just them being assholes talking to a TV screen. Whereas, I don't know. You get into those, but so like back to the piracy thing. It's the only way certain things exist anymore. So, for example, that What We Do in the Shadows short film, I don't think it's not a special feature on the Blu-ray, and I own the Blu-ray. So like that's another thing. Like I own all the stuff.
Like and I would buy copies of stuff that you can purchase.
Buy official copies of this stuff too. Like they're just not available, so I can't. I mean, I have all the Beavis and Butthead official releases, but they don't have the music videos. They don't have the and some of the sketches, like Frog Baseball. Frog Baseball is on there, but it's a special feature. It's not even part of the episodes. They're not even shown in like episode order or as they aired on TV or anything like that. They're just the segments, and I would love I have a digital version of Beavis, but I would love a physical copy of the whole thing. And you can order it. I don't want to put anybody under the bus because I don't know how legal it is, but you can Google King Turd collection, and that's fans have done that. They've compiled their own. They did that with Freddy's Nightmares as well. That show,
dude, I'm gonna watch that again. Like, I feel like
Freddy's Nightmares?
Yes, I remember watching it when I was a little kid, but I don't remember anything else like really about it.
Do you have it?
No, I don't have.
Not available anywhere. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I would like to see it because it's Robert Englund stars as Freddy Krueger, and it never got an official DVD release. It never got anything like that. And are you gonna go? Come on, cat just jumping by. Never got an official DVD release. It's not streaming anywhere. I think you can watch one episode maybe on YouTube, but that's it. There's 2 episodes that are a special feature on the Blu-ray, but that's it. There were 44 episodes total. So like it's just gone, which is weird because the Friday the 13th show, that got an official DVD release and has nothing to do with Jason Voorhees or anything to do with the movie franchise at all.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that was a popular show that just does not exist anymore unless you pirate it, and that is, I don't get it.
What was it an episode of Freddy's Nightmare when like somebody was trying to be an actor on something and he like hit her eye? He was like, "Oh, you want to hear her scream?" and then like popped his fingers in the girl's eyes.
That might have, was that in the movie?
I remember that being like,
I remember a girl, I think in the 4th one, he like inflates her or deflate or sucks the air out of her or something. I can't remember. I've seen Nightmare on Elm Street 1, 3, and Wes Craven's New Nightmare a million times. 2, 4, 5, and 6. I don't watch as often, so I don't remember what happened in those. And Freddy's Nightmares, I've only seen all the way through once, so I can't remember if there was or not. Some of those episodes are really boring. Brad Pitt stars in one of them. Seriously, like he is the star in that same episode. The old lady from Wedding Singer, she's in it. There are a lot of really famous people that were on that show. And once again, it just does not exist anymore. And you're just.
Did you see
in the fringes? You can't go stream it. You gotta.
Yeah, you gotta seek it out on the dark web,
back alleyways of. Well, dude, it's like that was the one thing about physical media. Well, that Evil Dead would have not existed if it wasn't for bootlegs. Like it
and Boondock Saints, same thing. Like that was just a Blockbuster. Like you could only rent it at Blockbuster or something, right?
That I don't know. I want me and my wife are gonna watch that Troy Duffy documentary overnight. Did you ever see that?
I don't know. It sounds familiar.
It's on Tubi for free. I just looked it up. I saw it years ago and I was telling her about it. Apparently Troy Duffy is a complete and total dickhead. And this is from this documentary, but apparently he hired his childhood friends to make a documentary about the making of Boondock Saints. But his ego just, like, he started treating the people making the documentary like total shit and treating everyone like total shit. And that documentary, that's why the second one took for fucking ever to come out. Mm-hmm. And it's not very good. It's because he was such a dick. Nobody wanted to fucking work with that guy anymore. I watched that movie. It'll piss you off how much of a dickhead he is. He bought the script from him, and then I think he was working at a bar and bought the bar he was working at and gave it to him. So now this guy who never wrote anything or never did anything was getting all this attention from Hollywood. So he went from this normal guy to thinking he was king shit. You had Mark Wahlberg saying things like, I'll suck your dick for a part in this movie. It's in this documentary. The people wanted to be in this movie so bad that his ego just exploded. And then during the making of the film, the way he treated everyone. It's just like, I was just like, wow. And it totally explains why the only thing he ever did was Boondock Saints until Boondock Saints 2. Maybe he's nicer now. I don't know. But back in the day, that documentary was not flattering.
I remember all the like the online content that they were doing around the second one, and like the whole thing with like voluntary background actors and all that.
Mhm.
All that stuff while it was coming out, but I don't think I ever heard any of the stories of Troy Duffy being a piece of crap.
Watch that documentary. It's on Tubi and Pluto TV.
Okay.
And they're both free apps, so you don't need any subscriptions or anything.
I'm gonna watch it right now.
After we're done talking.
Nope. I'm just gonna turn it on the TV right there. I'm gonna just have it on in the background.
No, but I mean, that's an interesting documentary for sure. And I really did like Boondock Saints. I liked the first one. But then you find out stuff like, I love watching behind the scenes stuff. So when I watched that one, I was just like, wow. It's like it's the total opposite of what you want to see with the behind the scenes stuff, because you want to see everybody having a great time, and then that was just not the case. I think the actors were fine, but he was just
the reason we were bringing that up was because I'm pretty certain that Blockbuster Video had an exclusive on Boondock Saints.
Really,
and nobody could like own it. It was like you could only rent it
from there.
At least I think that's what I remember hearing, because it's like someone lent it to my friend Scott, and then we watched it over Scott's house, and it was like, oh, this is forbidden. Like it was like The Ring.
Yeah, it's always funny when, like, are you guys gonna fight again? The cat's back. He's an instigator. Look at this. He's coming back. She's gonna freak out. All right, that's what I mean.
Let
me just annoy you some more. What's up? What was the question before the cat interrupted? I forgot.
It was something about bootlegging, something about physical copies of things.
We were talking
the lore about Boondock Saints. It was like a forbidden thing.
Oh, that's right.
When we watched it, I remember it being like, "Oh, we're not supposed to."
Well, that's why I like certain movies are like. That's why I don't. If you want to stop piracy, make everything available in some way, shape, or form. I am more not everyone is going to do this, believe me, but I personally, if I have the option, I want a regular version of it. I don't want a bootleg version of it. I don't want an illegal copy of it. Like the Tracy Ullman shorts for The Simpsons. Like there's seasons 1 through 20 on DVD, because that's all they put out on DVD. I own all of them. And I have a bootleg of the Tracy Ullman shorts because they never made an official release of it. But if they did, I'd be the first one there to buy it. It's just like, it's annoying. It's another thing about streaming services that make me really nervous, because they could just take anything away at any time and then it is gone. And if you think it can't happen, the newest show that I could think of, the newest examples from 2019, it was a Shudder show called Critters, A New Binge, based on the show Critters, the movie Critters. That was a series on Shudder. It was exclusive to Shudder. It's not there anymore. And it's not on anything else. And it never got a DVD release. So you can't watch it anymore. That's what I'm saying. This is the thing about streaming services that I'm just like, they're like, it's on this. Why do you need the DVDs? Because they could just take away anything whenever they want to. So-and-so did something bad, so we can't show this show anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So-and-so did this, so we can't have that episode in this show anymore. The Simpsons Michael Jackson episode is just not there. It's not on Disney Plus. Mm-hmm. So the only way you can watch it anymore is either if you have an illegal copy of it, or if you bought the season 3 DVD. Mm-hmm. There's episodes of 30 Rock that are not available on streaming. There's and once again, as a fan, I want everything, and I'll decide if it's offensive or not for me to watch you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, Like, yeah, I get it. Like that Beavis and Butthead thing, I was even uncomfortable watching that episode. But I don't think it should be erased.
Mhm.
Like it's not like and
Like,
that's the thing. That's, like I had a digital copy of the movie Sausage Party.
uh-huh,
Like a legit one that you redeem from the Blu-ray,
uh-huh,
right?
uh-huh.
I redeemed it through Vudu. A couple weeks later, my friends were over. I went to go watch it. It was gone. And then I went back. I tried to do it again. It said your code has already been redeemed. And I watched it digitally the first time, and it's not there anymore.
Wow.
They just took it out of my library. This is why physical media is important.
Right.
And that's just why I'll, I mean, yeah, you can download stuff and have it on your hard drive, but I have literally like, I have 2 terabytes full of movies on this hard drive, but if I drop this on the floor, they're all gone. Like, it's just,
They could be like, they could release things the way they are and then put a disclaimer before it.
right.
Like say,
This
hey,
was made Song of the South. This was made in 1947. Disney probably thought they were being progressive at the time, but you judge for yourself. Like that,
or
like
we're releasing this for people like Joe Gariffo.
no, listen, it's not like I'm going to sit down and be like, I want to watch Song of the South today. I'm just saying it's like these things existed. You're making it look, you want everything to look better, but it was part of your history. These things existed. Stop trying to erase it. You can learn from
the episode skip from episode 10 to episode 13 so quick. Like,
yeah. What happened? What happened to the 2 episodes? There was one line that somebody didn't like, so we had to remove the whole episode.
Right.
That's where I'm getting like, okay. Because yeah, I'm very much for free speech, but I am also like, I don't think you should punch down and all that other stuff. But but taking away all the old media because it might offend somebody is really like, but this was the time period that it was made in. This was a snapshot in that time period of history,
dude,
and how fucked up it might have been.
I have a story in regards to that. It's not really a story. It's just something that eats away at my head, and I don't think of how wrong it was. But like, oh man, I might have contributed to losing a friend by quoting something that Family Guy said, like in like a Facebook post. It was like they did a joke that said something like, "Oh, remember, guns don't kill people; dangerous minorities do." And I was like, "Why would they say that?" And then I just was like, I like just quoted it and put it on my Facebook, and somebody's like, "Yo, you're racist," and I was like, "I'm right." Like that was like before being woke, and this couldn't have been that long ago. So I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of like Seth MacFarlane stuff that's probably erased as well.
Once again, like a lot of that stuff. I mean, I can't speak for that specific Family Guy reference because I don't know that one. But I mean, there is also a big difference between like some things are actual satire, and I don't think people understand satire anymore.
Right,
like
context of
Tropic Thunder or like that's the whole social commentary about it. That's why it's in the movie. The context is important. You remember Be Kind Rewind?
Yeah.
With Jack Black?
Right.
There is like Jack Black wears blackface in that movie. The way they do that scene is he comes out because they were going to Swede like a movie, and he comes out as a black character, and Danny Glover's like, no, and Jack Black's like, I don't know what, why? Like he doesn't understand why it's like. There's ways to do things that poke fun at that, like like that, things like that. Like there's or the Lethal Weapon.
There's Lethal Weapon 5.
Yeah, of Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where I mean, all those characters are awful in general, so it's not like
they're meant to be hated. Like they're
right.
meant to be assholes.
That's the point. Frank, I would never want to. That's the funniest thing. A lot of shows that I love are like shows where I would never want to hang out with those people. Arrested Development, even Frasier. Like I love them.
Mhm.
I quote them. But I would never want to hang out with them. Always Sunny is another. I watch it all the time. I love to watch them, but I know that like,
Dude, I quote "The Nightman Cometh" all the time.
Dayman. Ah!
I always like I'll come into a room and I'll be like, "Come one, come all to a beautiful show. It's gonna be awesome and some other stuff. Some other musical stuff."
Actually, I haven't seen Be Kind Rewind in forever, and I'm actually genuinely curious if they cut that part out of the movie. And it wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't surprise me if, like, next time I watched it, that part wasn't in it. I'm like, all right. But yeah, like that's they. Star Wars is another example of like I like them the way they came out originally. And it's very hard to find. I have them now. I have the despecialized editions of the original trilogy. But you know how hard it was to get them, dude? Like,
Jump through hoops.
I don't torrent stuff, so I had to find it from someone that I trust and but like but if Disney put out the original trilogy unaltered, not the special editions, you know how much money they'd probably make? Just from Star Wars fans that have never seen them, like younger people that love anything Star Wars, but like all the older people that remember it a certain way and haven't been able to see it that way for 20 years. Like, and that's why it's like, why aren't they available? I don't. George Lucas doesn't own the rights anymore, so why wouldn't they want to make more money by putting out the original trilogy? Was that a part of their deal? You're not allowed to do that. Like, I don't know. I think
it's the entire property. Like they own it. Like they should absolutely put it out.
Right. And it doesn't take away from, if you want to watch the special edition, you have that option. If you want to watch how they aired originally, you should be able to have that option. And it drives me crazy. Like,
dude, you know what? I'm surprised. Not really surprised, but the fact that it doesn't exist on any like streaming or anything, but it would be offensive probably. The Clerks cartoon.
It wasn't. I mean, I have it. I have the DVD of it, but
I could probably quote that like all day.
You're supposed to talk. It's only funny if you talk, stupid. It's only funny.
It's like, why do you guys have a monkey? So we could teach you to smoke. Duh.
I love that cartoon. That cartoon was like, I guess Family Guy was first technically, but I always felt like the Clerks cartoon came first. But they had the same type of humor, and I genuinely liked the Clerks humor more. But whatever.
I like it. Sick. Like, do you think they're cognizant of how bad they got it?
Classic Pfeiffer. I love that show. Yeah, but I mean, even Clerks 2 would be considered offensive today, right? The whole scene with Wanda Sykes and Earthquake, that whole scene. Right. Even though Randall, that's the thing, it's coming out of the worst person in the movie's mouth. And I think that's, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's like you're listening to the idiot is saying all this stuff and everyone around him is acting like, you know, wow, what you're saying is horrible. It's not like everyone in the room is going, wow, you're completely right, Randall. Right, like, that's the difference. If everyone in the room is like, you are totally right, Randall.
Well, this guy is also the same idiot who confused Anne Frank with Helen Keller.
Exactly. These aren't. And that was what I remember. A person asked Kevin Smith about Chasing Amy and like how it was homophobic or whatever. And Kevin was like, my brother's gay. His older brother's a gay man. And he's like, and I never felt like it was homophobic specifically. I have those words coming out of Banky Edwards' mouth. Banky is the idiot of the movie. He represents the people that would always say that stuff. That's not how I feel about it. Like and I think that's another thing that, like, it's just because that's in the movie doesn't mean the person that wrote it thinks that way. That means that, like, anyway, I'm just it's just now I'm just angry. I'm just like,
well, what can bring you to the point where you'll be like psyched about like the cool stuff? I mean, because that's more important to be psyched about something. I mean, like I myself, like today, I started watching The Mandalorian today.
oh really?
And, yeah, I actually had started watching it, and I watched like the first 5 or 6 episodes, and I was bored out of my mind. I did not like it. And
Really?
And then I was talking to my roommate, and he was like, you should go back. He was like, it really starts getting good right after you stopped watching it. And I was like, that Amy Sedaris like babysitting thing was just so boring to me. I felt like I kept like falling asleep trying to watch this show. And then I think I got up to 7 today, and I was like, no, all right, I get it. And then my roommate was like, yeah, well, you'll learn who like the bad guy is for this episode, like, or for the season soon. And I'm embracing my nerdism on this and just leaning into it. But I'm for sure also leaning into WandaVision. And the funny thing is, like, as they announced that it was coming out, my friend Scott went into this like hour-long, like, he told me like all the history of like the Secret Wars and like getting into like the comic book side of it that I don't know anything about. And I was recording him talking, and I was like, I'm gonna put out a special bonus edition of my podcast. At the end of the conversation, he was like, are you podcasting me right now? So I might put it out as a bonus episode. If I had like a Patreon or something, I might put it on there, but I don't have that stuff.
WandaVision's cool. See, I wasn't sure, like, the first couple episodes, I enjoyed them, but I was like, all right, where's this going? You know, and then, I feel like if they released the first 3 episodes instead of the first 2 right away, there would have been less people bitching about stuff, because the first 2 are just straight up like, have you watched it all?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't want to, I'm sorry. There's also people watching. Yeah, spoilers for WandaVision, the first episode, if you haven't seen, or the first 3, whatever. I don't know. Anyway, I really like the show. I'm curious to see where it's going. I it's fun. It's fun to watch. I too like The Mandalorian. I wasn't as big as, like, I won't ruin anything because I know you're not up to there.
I have to say, and I say it all the time, and I don't know if you've ever heard me say it. I don't mind spoilers. Like, if somebody like gives away something to me, and I'm like, okay, I'm still gonna watch it if I like it. Like,
I don't like things for you if you don't, when you're gonna watch it. I don't want to tell you.
I started wrestling when I was a teenager. Okay, so I was also a big wrestling fan. So when I got into the wrestling business and I get into the locker room, there's a piece of paper with all the matches on them, and then there'll be like a underline under who's gonna win, and then there's gonna be like a little like description written about what they really want to get over in the match. So it's like if I want to sit down and watch the show, I already read what it said on the so I've been in the spoiler business, or like the idea of like accepting that spoilers are just a part of it, because everything is kind of predetermined in that world. So I'm kind of on the inside and can appreciate good stuff for being good stuff, and I don't have to be surprised when everybody else is surprised.
I know, but if people are listening, I don't want to spoil it for those people that don't like.
Nobody's listening. Nobody's listening. Nobody cares.
It might be, you don't know. Well, you would know, I guess. You're the one that. No, but yeah, I like WandaVision a lot. Mandalorian. As a kid, like you used to, it's funny because like you're a nerd, you like that stuff. Now it's like that's what's popular. It's
Right.
just it's.
It's
I remember I posted on Instagram. I posted something. They were like, "You have the coolest stuff," and I'm like, 15 years ago, this is I'm the biggest nerd. I'm the lamest person. With like,
dude, it goes in circles. You know, it goes in cycles. It's cyclical. It's like tight pants are lame. Then it's like tight pants are cool. And then
now
it's like
again, right? Isn't that the thing? Crying laughing emoji is lame now.
Right. It's just like what once was bad is now good, and what's good was once bad, and it's just it winds up coming full circle, and you just got to be careful that the things that you identify, not I don't want to say identify, the things that you praise, you got to like be careful about. You got to be careful about how you identify, because they could be wrong, just like Seth MacFarlane and his racist joke. So it's, if you identify too hard with something, like kind of make sure it's the right thing.
Yeah, like if I was like hardcore, like Beavis and Butthead could do no wrong, and then like I showed someone that episode, and I was just like, you know what I mean? Like I understand as a creator, I totally get why Mike Judge is embarrassed or wouldn't want someone to see that stuff, because I'm sure he's probably a good dude that maybe at the time thought it was funny or it was social acceptable, and now realizes, wow, that's just not fucking cool, and I don't want anyone to see that anymore. And I respect that. I just also feel like erasing it isn't. Like I get it as like I made a movie called Swooped. I don't want anyone to see it. I think it's sexist. I don't like it. I've talked publicly about how I don't like it, but the movie exists. I'm sure people will go out and watch it. Now that I just said that, it'll probably make someone even want to go watch it. But like, I'm not going to try to erase that it existed. I don't like the movie. I'm not, you know, I won't make it. I've never made any money from it. And if it ever does go anywhere, I won't ever make any money from it, because that's how strongly I feel about not liking that movie. But I can't help if other people like it. You know what I mean? I don't want them to, but I'm like, my dog's just snoring up a storm. You're like,
Two more things, and then I'll
get going.
send you off with a hot dog and a handshake and right off into the sunset. Right. So I'm sure you're familiar with the idea of the audio time travel. I've gone through this with you before, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in 2041, someone stumbles across this recording, whether they're watching the video or they're listening to the audio, and they care about you enough that they want to find out what you're really like at the age you are now, and in the year 2021. What's helping you through, and what's the messages that you could inspire somebody 10 years from now with? And you're speaking to that person right now.
Right. Well, I mean, it's similar to what I said last time about, like, always encouraging an artist, because you never know who could be like their next, that artist might wind up being your next favorite person, creator or whatever. But dog's just snoring.
Yeah, here.
Hold up. No, I mean, I don't know. just be kind and humble, and don't try to, all right, a lot of times when creative people, they get competitive. Don't try not to be competitive with other creative people. Work with them, because if you work with them, you'll get a lot farther than trying to compete with them. You can work together and make amazing things instead of being instead of being at odds with each other. Don't get jealous of other people's success, because their success might help you in the future.
Right. Because someone else is doing well doesn't mean you're doing bad because of it. It's just that they have the job that they have. It doesn't mean that you can't still be what you want to be because they got some success. That success that they have isn't your success that you aren't getting because they're getting it. Is that the feel of what you're trying to go for there?
Yeah. Yes. Sorry. She's just
so along the lines of encourage people, like really the best way to create what you want is be grateful for what you already have. Right? So if that's the case, if you wouldn't want someone cheering on your downfall if you were doing well, why would you be doing that to somebody else?
Exactly. And I think that's a thing, like a lot of people, I mean, even myself back in the day, like you would get jealous when someone else would do something and you'd be like, oh, why didn't that happen to me? You know what I mean? And then but when you stop thinking like that and you start really just focusing on yourself and what you want to do and don't give a shit about what other people are doing or how well they might be doing or whatever, things work out a little bit better. I mean, I'm still in my mom's basement and all that other stuff, but I don't know, in the last year things have been going pretty well. It took a long time to get to that point. So I
think the next time we do this, be somewhere else, and it'll be from some villa.
Oh God,
dude, honestly, I think I'm coming to the idea that I think I just want to be able to make enough money that like I can live alone. Like I've never lived alone before, and I would like to do so. Like that's just a very random goal, but I think it needs to exist for me. I just want to be financially able to not have roommates.
Understood. Yeah, I live with my mom. Well, me and my wife live with my mom. She's legally blind, so we help her out, but it's also financially good for us. But it is a pain in the ass. Because in 10 minutes, she'll be like, Joey, I can't get the TV on the right channel. Can you help me? Yeah. It's the same every day. We're just...
You're such a character, man. I can't tell you how cool it is that we're friends. I dig it. You're a fun cat. I love it.
Thank you, Corey.
I will try to wrap it up the way I always wrap it up, where I start to say, hypothetically, I've gifted you this show.
Yes.
So now this is episode 1, the pilot episode of your new podcast, Evolving with Joe Gariffo. Okay. And in your very Jerry Springer's final thought type of way, you wrap it all up in a pretty bow. And then once you've given the message of how you can evolve to be a better version of yourself tomorrow as you are today, you can be a better human. You do your best impression of Alf and say, hey, Willie.
I like cats. Hey, Corey, I like cats. This is my best Alf impression.
Well, it's the best one I've ever heard, honestly.
Listen, I can't do it. No, if I was evolving with Joe Gariffo, don't be a dick, people. I said it last time, but you know, I post like I'll post something. Like I did like a fan edit on my TikTok, and somebody was like, "This edit is trash." And this is also like supposedly like a friend of mine, someone that follows me and I follow them and stuff, and who is also a content creator. This person makes music, and I'm just like, you wouldn't want me to go to your page, listen to your song, and just go, dude, this song is trash. So why would you say that to someone else? You could say, hey man, I think you should do this. I didn't really like this edit. Things like that.
Yeah, make your criticism constructive.
Criticism is different than saying like, this is trash. That is not a criticism.
That's an opinion.
Dickhead. So like, especially if you're a creator, don't do that to people. Like really, fucking seriously. Because I like, especially if you're a creator. I mean, don't do it in general because, you know, one, most of you people don't even know how much goes into making even the worst movie. So like that's what, like, I was just listening to a podcast with Edgar Wright where he was talking about how he doesn't like Mystery Science Theater because some of those movies are really good and they don't deserve, you know. Now I love Mystery Science Theater and I see the argument there, but I don't think Mystery Science Theater maliciously is making fun of those movies to the point of like,
right. It's just that it's like it's from a different era, and it's like they're movies that they're spoofing or speaking over is like something that they can make funny because it's like
the movie may not have been as funny originally, or even if it was, it's still a different art form in a way. But yeah, like I get his point. And he was like, well, you wouldn't want to make a movie that became a Mystery Science Theater movie. And in my head, I'm like, well, you know what? If I would
know what it was
or whatever, I wouldn't. That would actually be pretty cool in my head because I love that show. But I do understand where he's coming from. And like the more you do movie stuff, the way less critical you are, especially of indie films. Hollywood films are a different story a lot of the time. But indie films especially, like you become way less critical of not necessarily story points, but like you know, technical things for sure, stuff like that. Yeah, that's all. Yeah. But saying things like this is trash is not helping anybody because like, look, I'm not saying I'm anybody, but like what if in 2 years I made a movie and it became like the biggest thing ever, and then you were a fan of mine when 2 years ago you just said that everything was shit? It's just like, but that one comment might discourage somebody from doing that for the rest of their life. Even though it's one anonymous asshole on the internet, that might be enough to psych someone out of trying it because their anxiety is through the roof because they don't know what strangers are going to be saying about them.
Right. And influence is a powerful thing. And if you're gonna comment on something, if you received that same comment, how would you react to it? So a good amount of
page would be like, yo man, this song is trash, but like I didn't do that, but like I wanted to.
Right. Of
course. What I really should have done is went to his page and went, wow, this song is amazing, even if it wasn't. But like that's what I'm saying. It's like
I don't and not bragging or patting myself on the back, but I don't get a lot of like bad reviews on stuff or bad comments on stuff. But like once I do, I don't acknowledge it. I just delete it.
And I'm also the type, like, if I don't like a movie, I tweet a lot about movies. I talk a lot about movies. If I don't like one, I don't talk about it unless someone straight up asks me. And even then I won't be mean. Like I will just say that wasn't for me. I wasn't a fan. I won't go into like how much I hated it, or because a lot of times I don't hate movies. I don't hate a lot of movies. I might find some boring. I might not relate to the subject matter or whatever, but I don't hate is a very strong word. There's one movie I hate, and I tell my wife all the time, and it's The Greasy Strangler, because It's just I can't. It's just so disgusting to me. But even then, like even then, this is me out of like kind of like a loving like go watch if you want to see the most disgusting movie ever, go watch The Greasy Strangler. I just couldn't eat for 2 days after I watched that movie. It was, but even then, I'm telling you, like people like that stuff. If you like that stuff, go watch it. If you don't, you're gonna hate it. Like that's what I mean. I didn't like it, but I know people that would. You might, Corey. I don't know.
Probably not. It doesn't sound like something I would like.
There's a guy, he's naked through the whole movie. Dude, he's he covers himself in grease and then strangles people.
Who needs it?
It's just so nasty. No, it's just nasty. Like I'm sure people need it. My wife loved it. I don't know why. She's over there. I didn't love it. I don't know. It's my. But like that's a movie. That's one movie where I'll be like, all right, I'll publicly talk about how disgusting it is. But I think that's what they want. I think that's part of the charm of that movie. Even though I won't watch it again. I'll never watch a movie again. But yeah, that's. But even then, like even me saying I hate that movie, I'm still telling you like you should watch it if you like that type of stuff because you'll probably really like it. It was just way too disgusting for me. I couldn't stomach it.
I want to take the opportunity once again. I don't know if I've done this yet on the show with you, and maybe the 5 other times you've been on here, saying like, you know what? I probably said it every single time. I want us to work together. I want us to create together.
I think so.
And I feel like it would be so much fun. But you know what? I'll just let you continue to build yourself up. I'll build myself up over here, and then when our forces combine, they will be. Project. What's that?
We'll get to the right project. It'll happen.
Yeah. I feel like there's stuff that's got like your soul to it and your heart to it that I think my heart and soul can kind of gel with it really well and make it turn into something that people will be proud to watch.
Well, thank you. I would like to do that. And yeah, I never know how to respond to these things. I'm always like, thank you, buddy. I'm just like,
well, I mean, if you want to throw compliments back my way, I'll accept them all day. I will accept so many compliments.
Well, I did love that short you did, the Batman one. That was really freaking cool. That was awesome. If you guys haven't seen it, but I'm sure if you're listening to this for whatever reason, you probably have seen it, but it's very good.
Well, I think I operate under the impression that anybody who's listening or watching Evolving with Corey Castle, I figure out, I think in my head that like most of the people who are checking it out are maybe hearing it for the first time or maybe watching it for the first time. So maybe, like maybe it's somebody who follows you and just is like, oh, true. Okay. That's so I would always assume that anybody who's checking out the show, it might be their first time they're checking out the show.
Okay. Well, if it is your first time, then he made I guess it's this side of everything's inverted on my screen. So I'm like, he made this awesome fan film about Batman, which is it's really good. And I'm sure you have links to it, so check it out.
Yeah.
What happened to my head?
On my link tree, which is in my Instagram page, you can absolutely. That's a neat hat that you got there.
Oh, that's just Silent Bob's hat.
Right. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Tell me anything I don't already know.
Just wearing Silent Bob's hat. Not the one from the actual movie. It's
right.
It's at the movies, actually.
Yeah, man. We gotta go to one of the pop-ups.
It's I don't have insider information, but I know that they are definitely coming to Philadelphia. I don't know exactly when, but I do know they're definitely coming to Philly with the movies pop-up. So, and I'm supposed to meet him when he comes here to talk about what we're supposed to talk about. So, I hope that happens, and I'm not going with.
Well, it's not going to happen now because you talked about it on a podcast. You talked about it on a podcast. You breached the NDA that has yet to be signed.
I yeah, I didn't. There's no NDA. I didn't say anything. We're all good. I'm not. I also didn't say anything. I said we're doing something. That's as vague as I can.
It was a real breach. A real breach.
Although I think you do know. I think I did tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know personally, but I didn't. I could off the air. I could tell you, but I didn't tell you here.
Yeah, dude. Let's get our wrap up on. And if you wanna say anything else on the record whilst you're on the record, feel free right now.
I think I'm good. I talked a lot. I don't know what else to say.
All right, everybody.
Be excellent to each other and party on.
Party on, dudes. I think I very much want to make sure everybody knows, and I say it to you all the time, Joe. Like, you need a resource in any way, absolutely call on me. If this is your first time listening to Evolving with Corey Castle, please go back and listen to the other 226 other episodes, and let me know you exist. Like I always say on the wrestling podcast, if you like what we're doing, let me know you exist. Comment on the video below. If you're watching this on Facebook or on YouTube, or make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you get new episodes every single time they come up, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify to get new episodes posted every Monday. Joe Gariffo, I love you, man.
Love you too, Corey.
I appreciate your time. I appreciate your effort. I hope that all the best things. You have the life that you deserve. I hope that you have all the best things.
And I hope the same for you as well. And thank you for having me again. And I will be back again, I'm sure.
So. Absolutely. All right, everybody. Be fun. Have safe. Keep evolving.
Have safe.